What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be jumping into some case studies. Basically the plan is to cover the expanse of augmented reality advertising from basically 2011 until the end of 2021. So we've really seen, quite a lot of brands trying this out and having some really good results with it. So basically I want to take you through some examples of these and really help to start the cogs turning in your mind about what's possible, how this can apply to your businesses and your clients even, and what's really really possible. Because if you're just coming into AR, it might feel a little bit like it only works for certain brands. You can actually see on the side here like health and beauty. That's usually where people sort of see AR ads already. But really, I guess one thing to say before we jump into these is these are all off Facebook, so they usually tend to be for like location-based AR rather than like AR ads specifically for Facebook, Instagram, which is obviously what we discover and we talk about. But I really wanted to cover this because you can see already what people have been jumping into, what people have been using. And later on this year, maybe next year, there'll be a lot more case studies specific to Facebook and Instagram ads. But for the time being, let's jump into these. I'll just show a short preview, and then we'll just talk about the actual ad and the effect. Let's get it started. So yeah, this one's based in London Victoria Station. Obviously, links as well. I don't know if you saw this. It's about links. But really, the sort of purpose for this one is to draw you to a certain area in the station. So you see this sort of mat they got set up on the floor, and then they're sort of directed to look at the screen. And then when they look up at the screen, they plonk this. Wait, I don't want to spoil it. No spoilers. There we go. This angel, smelling of links, throws her halo down. So yeah, this would have been like something people have never really seen before. So you know that loads and loads of people will be jumping on this and wanting to try it out, filming themselves doing it. Really the build of awareness is really the goal here. Obviously it's links, so they have this sort of promotion. I think there's these two, I don't remember, this was a long time ago, but I think there were two different like scents, and one was like good, one was evil or something like that. I don't really remember. But yeah, the point of this one really is it just shows you like it has that effect of wanting to draw people in. If I try and go back to like a good screenshot. Yeah, it's getting people all in. This lady here's got her phone out. Everyone's smiling, laughing. Everyone's having a pretty good time. And then, of course, you're remembering the experience you're having with links. So, of course, this isn't necessarily something you can do with Facebook, Instagram ads yet. Of course, this will probably be something you can do in the metaverse, but that's a totally different discussion. But yeah, that was really effective, and it was a really good use of space for links. I think that one did really well. Don't actually really have any stats on these, but yeah. So let's keep going. So this one, again, this is more of a not really a location-based one, but this requires you more to have the actual product already. So this is let's just play it. I'll describe it as it goes along. So yeah, Top Gear magazine. And of course what you need to do is actually, put your phone or iPad in this case over the top of the magazine, and you can sort of see some live video happening. Back when Top Gear was a big thing, I've not really heard much about it the last couple of years. I think it's died down a little bit, but yeah, there's a really good example of, for example, if you have something where, even if it's a magazine or you're giving people some sort of physical catalog or like some sort of pack. You're giving them some info pack or something like that. This can be a really amazing way of getting them to actually read it. Get yourselves some AR experience in the middle of it. And I've recently seen like a pinball game as part of it of a project I think it's a Sun project, so studio based in Paris actually. They created this, so you're able to actually really get people to make use of the material you're sending them. And of course this would work really well for lead generation is my first thought. So if you're sending sort of like a pitch proposal or something like that to like big companies, or even if it's just like a magazine or something, I think that would work really well. Actually, there are a few stats there. So they published 8 issues, they got 50,000 to 100,000 views per issue, 27% engagement rate, the click-through rate of 25%. I don't really know where the click-through rate was, but anyway. This one actually is very similar, so we don't really necessarily need to jump into that one. This vodka one, so this is an example of ways you could build retention with post-sale augmented reality. Again, it's not an ad necessarily, but it's making use of the augmented reality for the actual product they have. So yeah, you scan the label and then it sort of has this overlaying AR experience. It sort of comes from that. It gives you some information about the product and where it's made and things like that, I think. I can't really see what it's saying. One source, yeah, I guess it's about sort of where it started. But yeah, so you can see like the for a subscription model pack, anything like that you have, you could have something like this quite regularly to really mix it up with your customer base, because they're seeing the same sort of thing all the time. Maybe after a while it'll start to get a little bit samey for them, so you could just get something like that, have one of it. So yeah, this is the first one we're going to do. Get rid of this thing. Where this is actually something you can use within the ads. So those are the ones that have already gone over, as I explained earlier, for people just jumping on. It's more of a experiential augmented reality experience. I said experience twice. But it's not really to do specifically with running on Facebook, Instagram ads, which is what we're focusing on. Whereas this sort of experience you can use this really well. So let's go through it quickly. This is just to do with actually coming up to the Christmas season. This is pretty ideal, really.
Here or there?
So you can basically use, the app. You can have a whole catalog there, and you can sort of place it at different places of the room to see how it looks. Also placing outside. What I really like is I like the way it bounces, like when it lands, like that. It feels more. It feels more like it's actually a physical thing.
Before you get them, IKEA place.
But yeah, so that's a really good way of actually giving people the experience of putting your product in their space before they buy it. And that sort of thing does really, really well. So I don't know if they've given us any stats here, no, but I've seen a lot of case studies with similar things from IKEA. I've got another one coming up in a minute. Actually, I'll just jump into that now while I'm talking about it. So this is a bike brand, which I've actually been targeted by recently. I don't know why, because it's based in the Netherlands and I'm in Vietnam, but anyway. This brand have been using AR for pretty much the same reason. So they have this, this bicycle here, and they're using an AR ad so that you can see how it looks in your space. And my favorite thing about this is the little bit of information that comes with it. And there's like a little bit of a feature-esque sort of element to it. And you can look at unfortunately there's no video in this example I've got here, but you can actually look really, really close at each element of the bike, as if it was sitting there in front of you, and you can look around. And what I can imagine working really, really well for anyone who's in a space that this would work, for example, decor, like hobby stuff, any sort of activity, bicycling, camping, stuff like that, anything like that. You can have an AR experience where people are going in, looking around, your product, and then you have these sort of benefits, features, or anything that sort of come up here, and they give you an example of, what's so great about the product and what you can do with it. And I think that would be incredibly powerful, because it's sort of like a test drive in a way of this bike, and that's why I think this one has worked really well. and it looks pretty, it looks real. Like you can, the feeling it's not actually in your physical space, but it really gives you a really solid impression of it. So yeah, that was that one. And actually there's another one from, I think this is Walmart actually. So yeah, again, trying out the different catalog examples. Plonking the chair in your room to see how it looks. And then it says at actual size. So this is actually something that happens within Instagram or Facebook, is you can't scale the products at the moment. That's not a feature. So the product will need to be the size it is. So there's some other examples I have. I think of the IKEA one where there's like a desk or something, and they can zoom in and out, and they can sort of squeeze and expand the size, and that really only works on web AR. Whereas with Facebook and Instagram AI, it only actually lets you sit at the size it's at. So that's a very important thing to note. But I think it's a very useful. Again, another good feature of people being able to experience what it's like in their space before buying it, like a try before you buy. So let's jump back to these examples here. This one is not really product related specifically, but I actually think it's really cool, so I really want to jump into this one anyway. I think if I can full screen this one though. So if I go into I'll just do this. Hack it. So they've put this glass panel here. Again, this is in London, I think. Here, in London town. And they put this glass panel here, and then they can overlay AR into it. So when you're sitting there waiting for the bus or whatever, you can just look through. And of course, anyone who's actually there, as you can see, these people are there, and they're being projected into it like it was, like an actual glass panel. But then you've got this overlay of this cool effects, like, there's a robot there. So that's really cool. Again, another thing that's going to be memorable for people. That's a lot different to running an AR ad specifically, but there's something that people are definitely going to remember, and it's going to bring a lot of brand awareness. This also works really well for food, just because if your experience is making people's mouth water, then you can get to really pull people in. So they're doing this thing of building the AR experience on top of the box. And there's actually a better example of a KFC one in India that I saw. This one here. This is really cool. I really like this. I just skipped it like 20 seconds here. So this one is this works really well because it's to do with the price of the menu. So you actually put the note down, and then it builds the meal that you can buy for that money on top of it. So you could just do that in your space. This could be an AR ad. You could have this on Facebook feed, as long as it takes that shape of the bill and then overlays on top of it what the actual product you're selling is, which is an angle I've not even thought about now up until watching this ad.
It allowed users to scan any Indian currency note.
So here you go. So you can scan any currency there, and then you see it builds the menu on top of it. How cool is that? So you can just imagine that sort of that effect on pretty much anything. If the purpose of it, is something that's like, okay, or you're on offer, for example, like $20 for whatever, and you can see that relation of this much money to this is the product, and you can have the product appear right within their experience. So I think that's a really cool idea. I really like that. That's actually the IKEA one I told you about earlier, but that's all good. We don't need to jump into that one. What other ones do I want to show you? That one's cool, but not really that related. A lot of these have disappeared now. Okay, I think that's all the ones from that page I wanted to show you. I thought this one was cool. This is along the same line, but it's just actually quite funny. So I'll just show you this one as well. Social proof, because people are going and buying the burger and then they're going home, or in the restaurant or whatever, and then they're doing that on top and they're filming it and they're sharing it. So that's a really good example of, again, like a brand awareness, but also the social proof side is super built up by that one. So I thought that was really cool and funny, because what's not funny about a guy dancing on a burger? So there's a couple magazines. One, the Happy Table. No, I don't want to show you that. I'll show you this IKEA one because I think it's very relevant to Facebook ads. But of course, it's just going from the magazine again. So yeah, I mean, this is really just the same sort of reiteration of what we were talking about earlier, where you can just see within your space what the actual bit of furniture looks like, and you can cycle through them. Yeah, as she's doing right there. That's a really powerful thing, because maybe you end up liking a few different bits of furniture, which you had your eye on one, and you're actually going through the experience, and you're like, oh, actually, I quite like 4, and then you've already quadrupled the amount of AOV you're getting from that one customer. And we saw this in the case study with the sunglasses, the sunglasses brand we had. So I think the AOV before sort of escapes my memory at the moment, but I think it was around 1 or 2 pairs. And then after we started to run those ads, we started to see 3 to 4 pairs. And that's because people were being able to try on 4 pairs. So they've immediately been able to actually see physically what it looks like. So let's just jump into the last few of these, and then we can jump into any questions. I've not been looking at the comments at all, so I apologise if anyone's been. Hey Mohammed, what's up, guys? Hey Mai. Let me know if you've got any questions coming up. I'll jump into some questions at the end. I thought this one was quite cool as well. So I posted something about this in the AR Ad Strategies group that you're watching this from, probably. So this is called a portal. So what you can do is you can basically have a doorway where the AR experience is sort of contained within your, mobile experience. So within the experience itself. So you can see outside of that, everything's pretty normal, right? But within here, you're almost taking people through this portal into a completely different world. And I think that is potentially one of the most powerful things. That is basically the metaverse there. You're pulling people into it right here. It's a complete universe that you've created with everything that you want them to see. So that's incredibly powerful. So a lot further down the line, I see this being almost like a virtual shop, and I don't really understand yet how that will impact the amount of data the ads are allowed to be, because actually at the moment Instagram and Facebook ads with AR there's a limitation to the amount of data that can be in it, so they can only be fairly simple basically. But I think there's a huge potential in the future with this being basically come into our shop like virtually and browse around. And anyway, let's jump into it. I'll stop babbling. So you see it's very like stranger things themed. I mean, actually, that's coming up pretty soon, isn't it? They've got a new series coming out. How cool is that, though? I mean, that's perfect for Halloween. That's a very suitable Halloween sort of. Is that another portal, or is that real life? Okay, that's real life. That tripped me out then. I thought he went super meta. He went into a portal that went into a portal by the beach. Anyway, yeah, I think that's really cool. I'm really excited about this. I had a couple of ideas this would work for, and I think especially places where there's still restrictions in terms of the pandemic, this would be super powerful for whatever experience you have. So if you're able to create this experience for people to jump into, the example I gave in the group was camping. So if you had any sort of camping related products, you could take people out into the nature and get them camping and things like that. So, I mean, how amazingly powerful is that? But other than that, you can still pull people into this experience and show them around this little virtual showroom that you have. So yeah, I really like that one. I really want to show you guys that one. And then we'll jump into sort of this one here, and then we'll jump into questions afterwards. But yeah, this one is really, the sort of the makeup filter that it's sort of quite easily associated with AR. And she's doing it with the scroll at the bottom. You can also do with gestures and things like that. I really like this part actually as well, yeah. This is what I wanted to show you. So she's basically got all of the products on there and what they look like on her after she's had the experience. I mean, how awesome is that? So sort of two elements to it. And then you can walk around it like it's a gallery. Not that she can actually see it, of course. She's seeing nothing. She's just in a room with some windows. But you know, whoever this guy or girl is looking through the camera is seeing all this. But I think that's really cool because it's like there's like a takeaway from the filter. You know, it would be awesome if you could somehow download these as like JPEGs, as like a lead gen or something like that, like getting people's email. I don't know, but like people have jumped into your experience, then they've basically taken these pictures, which are UGC by the way, which you could just use for further ads, and then they've got this connection with them and how they looked with that specific product. So if there was some ability to be able to take a JPEG from this and, you know, share it with the customer, I mean, that's just amazing, isn't it? You've got someone who's tried on basically all your products. But yeah, so hopefully that's started to spin the wheels a little bit. I think there's so much that can be done, and through all the conversations I've had recently with, you know, brand owners, e-commerce agencies, people can see the potential, but there's a lot of questions around what it's suitable for. And I hope that's really shown you that it's basically suitable for anything. Like, I really believe augmented reality ads obviously are the next, you know, evolution in marketing, especially on Facebook and Instagram. But it's really about how you give that customer the experience, what emotion they're taking away from it, and how they're associating that with your brand, your product, and the solution that you're offering them. And it really doesn't matter what it is. It will work for basically anything, but you just have to be able to come up with the right concept of it. And that's really like the motivation behind the video today. Was I'm trying to give you as many examples as possible to start the wheels, you know, the cogs turning in your head, and start thinking, okay, oh cool, that can apply for this or this. Maybe we can try this sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, this one will be a little bit shorter than last time, but let me know if you guys have got any questions. I'm happy to jump in some questions before the end. If not, we can just wrap it up there. And you guys, you know, have an awesome Halloween. Feel free to ask any questions in the group afterwards if you have any, or actually on this video, because, you know, it stays there after the live. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That was a short and sharp, quick one, but nice and sweet. Hopefully, giving you some awesome inspiration behind what you can do, what's possible with augmented reality ads. And yeah, have a good weekend. I'll catch you guys later.